the line in time to set a new lap. Audio is good now, thank you very much. Joseph Hales crashed. That's why he is 15th and has a better lap time on the board than 14th. And this is going to be so close for Josh. But he is out. And these disconnections really have... Oh no, he was on a lap. Said he was on an out lap for me. That was weird. Well, Josh does make it through and joins Deflated who has topped the leaderboards since we have been away. Scuderia, Platy, TD, Wiggles, Snacks, Carito, Ayahuasca and Padge all in the top 10. Sonny is out on a lap and looking to improve. Asmafrogus finished in 12th and 1010 is out on track looking to get better than 13th. Greg has retired in 15th and could be at risk if Ray, Hissy, Speaker and Colucci can get faster than that. It's yeah, I think there might be some kind of glitch going on. I'm not sure what you've got on your screen, but on my screen, Josh has done a lap time. Ray has pitted, so in his first 81 race this season, will be starting in 17th on the grid at best. Colucci will be next across the line, and it looks alright. It's 15th place, he's now the one to beat, and pushes Greg out of qualifying. 10:10 goes third fastest and solidifies his spot in Q2. Very curious in what Hissy is doing. What do you mean? Well, it looks like... Oh, he's... no front wing for Hissy. So... I think Hissy may have had a bit of a crash on his lap. Yeah, that was a bit confusing. I'll have to rewatch what happened with Josh there. But for some reason, he's through. Maybe that's right. Maybe our screens were wrong. But there you go, Deflated Wee topping the timing screens. Scuderia 1010, Josh, Platy, all within half a second. Dropping out, Mr. Speaker will be starting last. Hissy will be starting in P19 after his last run with no wing. Ray in the Alfa Romeo, starting 18th on the grid. And Joseph Hales, with that crash earlier on, will be dropping out in P17. And Greg... close barriers, very dangerous track. Oh, and Sonny's out. I've just seen that. Not too sure what happened there. Sonny says he hates his life in Discord. Possibly some kind of crash on the way out the pits. Oh, he said he did a Grosjean. So, one has unfortunately bitten the dust. Carito sets us on our way with a 40.8, 1/10 slower than he did last session. 10:10 does a 40.9, which is again a little bit slower than what he did last session. TD with a 40.9 as well, 1/10 slower once again, and Snacks, same kind of deal. Padge 41.1 to start off his Q2 progress, as across the line comes Asthma Frog. We've got the wrong car spectating. To do a 49, but I think it was invalid, so he will go again. Scuderia, not quite as quick as last session, but he does go top on a 1 minute 40.2. Mr. Colucci then to the line, where he sets a 1 minute 41.5 and goes 7th ahead of his teammate Zidane, who is using the medium compound tyres. And what about Aya? They will pop back into the pits. Platty, meanwhile, coming out of turn 16 on a flyer in the Williams. Where can he pop that Williams? Still early days, of course, but a nice banker lap to get you settled. Never hurt anyone. Getting a nice little slipstream from Alpine of maybe TD. And Platty goes second with a 40.4. Nice little slipstream there from TD. Back then with Asthma Frog, who has no front wing on our screen. It doesn't look like... Oh no. The lift-off and the brake means he definitely does have no front wing. It looked... Who could that be? Aston Martin? Could be... AlphaTauri. Mr. Wiggles. Let's back into the pits. So back on board then with Deflated. Asthma Frog coming back out onto the track after first run with no front wing on during their lap. Back out to try and rectify that. Get a good lap time on the board. Remember, bottom 5 will be leaving us in this session. And so far, Josh, Aya, Asthma and Sonny will be heading out. But if those 4 can get a time on the boards, potentially they could drop Hadj, Colucci, Wiggles or Zidane into that bottom 5. Snacks kind of happy with my lap on mediums. Very good. I mean, to be quicker than 10:10 TD on the soft tyre. Very impressive stuff there. Who have we got on track? Behind Deflated Wee, we got Asthma Frog on an out lap. We got TD on an out lap. I think we've got Josh on a flyer coming through Sector 2 now. Got Ferrari of Aya through the castle section and the other Red Bull of Carito on an outlap. That's how things stand, and Deflated Wee, well, it was worth waiting for, let's just say that much. 39.5 goes fastest. Oh, and Josh has no front wing. I'm guessing that's what Joseph Hales was referring to there. Don't know how he's not out. Must have had a pretty hefty collision with the wall somewhere. So what about I then? This one is invalid, so has 56% battery. Can do another lap here, but also can head into the pits, which he is doing. Ooh, and Zidane on the runoff area to turn 2. Coming out of turn 3, he binned it, as Joseph Hales. .10 improves to 1 minute 40 on the dot. Very satisfying time to look at. But more importantly, that should be safe for Q2. Scuderia and Platti look comfortable too on their times. Carito is in P5, so you might think, well, he's pretty safe on that, but at 40.8 may get beaten at some point. So there's no guarantee that he'll head through. Evening, TJ. From TJ to TD. Nice lap so far. 8 tenths up. So on for a very low 1 minute 40. TD has really improved his pace towards the end of last season, and quite clearly pressing on with season 4. Anything in the 39s or low 40s will get you through, and that should see TD through pretty comfortably there. 1 minute 40.0. Kirito improves from a 40.8 to a 40.1 and slots in there to 4th place pretty nicely. Mr. Wiggles currently 10th fastest, the one to beat on a 1:41.972. Looking to improve as 10:10 and Deflated we drop out of the session. And Wiggles does a 39.6, puts himself within 2 tenths of Deflated Wheat, but more importantly, he will be safe and through to Q3. We got Snacks on a lap, Padge on a lap, Colucci, Zidane, Asma on the lap. Josh and Aya, without times on the board so far, are out on track for an outlap as Scuderia retires in 6th. Snacks then. First lap was on the mediums as Asmafrog, his teammate, goes ahead by a 10th, up into 8th place for Asmafrog. Good lap there from him, but Snacks with the soft tyres on the car does a 40.1 and jumps all the way up to P5. Very close there between TD and Snacks. Very committed in the castle section for Josh as Carito decides that lap is good enough. Colucci retires from the session, and being in 11th, we know what that means. 11th is the best that Colucci can hope for the start of the race. What about Josh though? Will this get him into the top? Yes, it will. 39.6, 2nd place. Won't mind too much he's not fastest. Oh, bit of a glitch there, but Padge dives into the pits where he will be out of the session. Asmafrog looks like he is calling the session there and heads into the pits in P10. Platty has finished in P9, and all of the top 10, no improvements left to expect. It's just Zidane in 13th and Aya in 14th. What can Zidane do? Currently 41.9. Does improve and misses out on Q3 by 1 millisecond as things stand. That when it's not going for you, it's not going for you. So unfortunate there. And I think Aya did a 1:41.1, I think, but it's not quite quick enough on this occasion. 13th place for Aya on the grid, and Asmafrog escapes out of Q2 into Q3 by 1,000th of a second. Can't get much closer than that. So dropping out of this session, Sonny on his outlap. Crashing out, unfortunately. We'll start 15th on the grid. Colucci 14th, Aya in 13th with just the one valid run. Padge in P12, Zidane in P11, as we know, missing out by 1,000th. But Deflated Weed, Josh Wiggles, 1010, TD, Snacks, Carito, Scuderia, Platty, and Asmafrog heading through to Q3. Is going to be on pole for the Bakuian Grand Prix. I know that's not the technical term, but it should be. The Bakuian Grand Prix. That has a nice little ring to it. So, Asmafrog still in the pits. As for the other 9, they are all out on flying laps. Josh and Platty just coming to the line now to start their times. Interesting to see how many of these 9 will be competitive, how many maybe get invalidated, maybe some end without a front wing. At the moment, 2 votes for Scuderia, none for Deflated, 1010 Wiggles or someone else. Feel free to vote in the poll if you're in the chat live. If you're not watching live on catch up, unfortunately you can't vote for the poll. So if you can't see it, don't worry. It's just a live option. Deflated Wee grabs a couple of votes. Scuderia 1 more as well. So currently 3-2 to Scuderia in terms of votes. Still got another maybe 10 or 15 seconds on the poll. Snacks kicks things off, 1 minute 40.9. Wiggles 39.6, echoing what he did last session. Carito 41.2 as Deflated Weed once again does a 39.5 and goes fastest here in Q3. Provisional poll for him, 10.10 into the 39s, again mirroring what he did last session, and these 2 Alpine cars giving each other a huge slipstream as Scuderia goes fastest by 2.5 tenths, does a 39.3, and you'd have to say that TD has given him a huge slipstream. TD seemed to have sacrificed his lap somewhat on a 42.4, and that slipstream looked mega. Platty does a 40.0, and so does Josh, our reigning champion. Is not into the 39s. That potentially is the most surprising thing about that first run. That's not being stopped. Yeah, that was a pretty hefty tow. And Deflated and Scuderia tied on the poll with 3 votes apiece. It's the point of the poll. You put it up before the lap times come in. It's okay to be... it's okay to get it wrong sometimes. TD, it's James. Not anymore. Head of Williams now, James Bowles. Interesting to see how that gets on. It's a bit similar to the NFL, if you follow the NFL. Sometimes teams will have offensive and defensive coaches, and sometimes if those coaches do well within their team, they can move on to be a head coach of another team. So a bit similar to what's happened in F1. Is there a way to reward pole winners with points, or is that automatic? I can try and get predictions up. Predictions you bet with your channel points. No different in rugby, yeah. Very true. Did I see the gap between me and... Yes, I did. 1 millisecond. Zidane, that's very unfortunate. Yes. We did see. Very unfortunate. But I think that should give you a lot of confidence. You're only 1 millisecond away from a spot in Q3. But there will be options for the top 4 in quali or someone else. Actually, no. We'll think about it more nearer the time. I have very limited responses with my predictions, so I have to be very strategic in how I phrase it and the options I give. So, yeah. We could do a how many safety cars prediction. Could do that. That might be fun. TD then on a flying lap. Navigating it too well so far. No real errors that I've noticed. Took a bit of a different line through that left-hander at the end of the cancel section. Is it paying off though? 3 tenths up. And considering he slowed down to give Scuderia a tow, and it looks like Scuderia is repaying the favour here. Yeah, it is Scuderia. These two are working together in perfect tandem here. This is a monster slipstream. Look at that miles per hour meter go. He's up to 218 as TD does a 1 minute 40.1. And that shows you just how close it is. Just a couple more tenths and he would have been up in P4. But TD, unfortunately, the first part of the lap possibly was just not quite good enough. But it's lovely to see those two Alpine cars working together. How many options have I got? Let's have a look. It's pretty much 2. Yeah, I had a feeling, TD. The tow was amazing that you had, but yeah, it didn't look like a stonker of a lap, shall we say. But you never know. We could do 0, 1 or 2, and then we could have 3, 4 or 5. Joseph, that's what I'm thinking, but we'll have to wait and see. Carito then finishes in P4, 39.8 on the board. Mr. Wiggles goes within a tenth of pole position and does a 39.4. And how has Scuderia done a 39.1 as Snacks pops in there with a 39.6? We thought that 39.3 was not going to be beaten at all, but he's gone a quarter of a second faster. And what about Deflated Wee now? I have no idea what his delta's like, but he is going to be dropping into the pits, and he'll start at best in third, as Josh is the next across the line with a 7/10 improvement. That's going to be pretty much a 39.3, unless he can get even quicker in this final sector. So Mr. Wiggles might have his slot on the front row taken away in dramatic fashion here. Josh across the line, and he does a 39.2. Slot on the front row has been stolen from Mr. Wiggles as 10-10 pits in 8th, and TD will start in 9th. Can we drug test Scuderia? Wow. I mean, I did say I was surprised to see Josh in the 1 minute 40s after his lap. Well, that is the Josh we know. But even still, Scuderia, wow. Take a bow. That is phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal lap. If we're already testing, mind testing Josh as well. Well, we have had some incredibly fast drivers in this league before. Be interesting to see how they stack up to that level. So there you go, Scuderia, pole position. Let's have a look actually. I will pay out that prediction. And here we go. Baku, round 1 of 18, and Assist Tier 1 season is underway. Josh needs to reconnect, and his AI has given him a pretty handy start there. Into the lead, Josh's AI takes him past Scuderia down the inside into turn 1. Plenty of action going on in the background. We've got a pass of Padge, who is ghosted as Scuderia gets back past Josh on the run down to turn 3. And we got 10-10 down the inside of TD. These two in a party together, so I imagine if there's a big crash, we will hear the scream from here. And Padge is lagged out again. Mr. Speaker dropping to the back of the field. What has happened there? Not too far behind. Still has dropped some places. Jockeying for position through this castle section of the opening lap. Scuderia looking to make good headway. We in third, Wiggles in fourth, Platy, Carito, Asma Frog, great start from 10th on the grid up to 7th. And there's a slap of the wall for 10-10 in the background out of turn 15. I wonder if there is some damage on that car. A little bit wide there from Mr. Wiggles, losing a little chunk of time, and another slap of the wall, possibly from Wiggles again. Just heard the noise as he went through turn 20. Yellow flag, full course yellow. That means either a safety car or a VSC. So what on earth has happened? There is pit stops galore. TD is not changing his front wing. And why is Sonny pitting? There we go. There's the front wing. We were speculating. Sonny then has had a bit of a collision. Oh, what's happened with Josh? He's spun. He's gone straight on at turn 3. And he has lost a whole load of places now, down to 11th. Oh, that's a very costly mistake there. VSC Colucci has overtaken Josh and got a 5-second penalty. So that's games deemed that an illegal overtake. Colucci said, no, it's not, and has carried on. VSC is still active here. You have a certain delta to abide by, and as the race gets underway, no one has exceeded that delta and got a drive-through penalty. Let's then have a look then in the early moments at the position changes. Deflated Wheat is past Wiggles after this VSC. Platy up 1, Carito up 2, Asmafrog best start on the grid. Joint equal with Colucci up 4, Joseph Hales up 4, and Hissy, who is also up 4. The big, I don't want to call them losers, but the big losers from the start. Josh down 8 with that turn 3 incident last lap. Snacks has lost a couple as Hissy pits. TD is down 9, Sonny's down 5, Padge is down 2. But it's got a disconnection as well. Tyre strategy, straightforward here, medium to hard or hard to medium. Most of them opting for the medium to hard strat. Top 11 opting for the mediums, as well as Padge and Mr. Speaker. The other 4, Aya, Joseph, Ray and Greg in 16th, all opting for the hard tyres first. This VSC has closed the bunch slightly. Scuderia did have an advantage over Wee, who had an advantage over Wiggles, but these advantages are, well, they're just forming now as we see, but they were reduced for a lap or so. No funny business off the start, what we'd love to see. Looks like 10-10 has maybe gone into the wall slightly. At 20 again. So here comes Josh, making moves, taking names. Past both Aston Martins now. Could be a really competitive battle for the Aston Martins there. Zidane versus Colucci. That could be a very good team battle. Platy has made his way past Mr. Wiggles. Yellow flag in sector 1, that's for Hissy. First corner, might have had a bit of a spin there. As Ray gets past Mr. Speaker. 16th place now for Ray. Was in 15th ahead of his teammate, but seems to have lost a couple of grounds, a couple of places in the last few moments. Cheese God, thank you for the follow. Really appreciate that. Hello, how's it going? Very well, thank you, mate. How are you doing? We are kicking off season 4 at Baku, a random calendar this season. We span a wheel last week and it spat out Baku to kick things off. And we are still early doors, but it's still very exciting. Mr. Wiggles now making way back up into third, past Platy into turn 1. Pretty straightforward move, and Scuderia here, after being overtaken by Wiggles a few moments ago, is looking to fight back. Very large train forming in that top 10. We got obviously deflated and Scuderia leading the way. 2 seconds back, we got Wiggles defending from Platy, Carito, Asma, 1010, Snacks, and Josh. Very close fight. Early doors, of course, that 5 of 26. I imagine if these gaps continue to stay on the trend we're seeing... Oh, I think Platy's made a mistake. He lost a huge amount of time. Oh! I think he lost it. I don't think he got tapped. I think Asma Frog was too far back there. I think Platy has just made a bit of a mistake. Maybe those rear tyres... too hot, but he is down to 5th now. Carito released into 4th, Wiggles released into 3rd. Thank you, TJ. I'm good, just practicing for my league race tomorrow, so thought I'd have some league racing to enjoy in the background. Mate, completely get where you're coming from. We got Hissy causing a yellow flag at the end of the castle section. We're going to stay with this fight for now. Feel like something's going to happen soon. Snacks and Josh trading places. Yeah, what league are you in, Cheese God? And what race are you practicing for? Oh, big slide from 1010. Catches it well, doesn't lose too much time. It's brought Snacks and Josh back within DRS range now. Oh, and Snacks making a mistake out of turn 12. Spinning the car. Very unfortunate for Snacks. And a VSC. So VSC will calm things down slightly. A couple of small errors out there on track. Most people keeping their nose clean though. Carito pits. And I imagine it'll be hard compound tyres. Josh pits, Colucci pits. This VSC has forced a whole load of pit stops now. As the VSC ends, this might be a smart decision, pitting early. Get like a mini undercut. And with the VSC, you may have helped yourself to a few seconds or so. But they may have very old tyres in the last portion of this race. So it'll be interesting to see how Carito gets on. Pitted from P4, so that is something to bear in mind. Right, let's go on board with... Where is he? Mr. Wiggles. Because he has closed that gap to the top 2. And now making it a 3-way fight for the lead. VSCs will be counted, yes. As part of the prediction for safety cars. I've got Zandvoort for the EXA PS Division 2. Currently P3 in the championship after 4 races. Only the 1 podium, but consistency is helping you out. Did get your first pole last time out of Mexico, even though you're not that good at quali. Very, very impressive stuff there, Cheese God. Congratulations on the pole. All the best for your season. And Scuderia, after this VSC, has looked to gain some time. 1.3 now the advantage. No DRS then for Wee or Wiggles down this main straight. None for Platy or Asma Frog, but 1010 has been trying to get past Frog for the whole race now. And still, after lap 8, still perhaps finding it a tricky task. Joseph Hales crashed out in Q1, started 17th on the grid. He's up 10 places now into the top 7. Good start there from Joseph, but he has a 5-second gap to close if he wants to catch 10-10. He is on the harder compound tyre, so perhaps a little bit understandable. There's a bit of a gap in front of him. But doing well to get past Zidane in the last few moments. And Aya, good start from him. Qualified 13th, up to 9th now. Snacks after that spin a few laps ago. Still in the points though in 10th place, and Padge back in the lobby after that disconnect, running in the top 11. No super close fights. The only one I can think of really is the one involving Josh. See how Josh is getting on, trying to get past Mr. Speaker. And DRS proving very effective once again, as we all know. And 10-10 is finally past Asmafrog into turn 3. It looks like 10-10 had to bide his time, but potentially might be making some inroads onto a possible top 4 or top 5 finish. Remember, Carito was 4th when he pitted, currently in 13th and approaching the back of Greg in 12th. Wiggles, not sure if there's any damage, but he has dropped a second in the past 2 or 3 laps. Was very close to the back of Wee at one point, now is losing time. Can't see any damage. It might be very minute, or maybe those tyres are just going off the cliff. And indeed, Mr. Wiggles comes in for a pit stop. 10-10, meanwhile, has gained massively on Platty. Platty must have made a bit of a mistake coming out turn 16. And 10-10 right on that Williams rear wing. And definitely into turn 3. 10-10 got past Frog last lap. Will he be getting past Platty in the same area of track? Not on this occasion. Deflated Wee maintaining that gap, or Scuderia maintaining that gap. Gap stabilised in the front, 1.5 seconds separating the top 2. Still not conclusive for the end result of this race, as Platty just had a little bit of a lag moment. And 10-10 does appear to have some good pace. Now, Mr. Wiggles has pitted, releasing him, getting a time penalty, but crucially for Mr. Wiggles, he is out of the pits ahead of Carito, who pitted 3 laps earlier. Padge has been inadvertently helping Mr. Wiggles by holding up Carito slightly. Josh is behind TD. Won't be an easy job to get past TD for P14. I'm sure Josh can manage it on those newer, fresher tyres. But Platty has good straight line speed in that setup. 10-10 struggling to get past even with the DRS in the last 2 laps. Who else shall we spectate? Let's have a look at the battle for 19th. Not over some points, but nice little battle with 2 drivers who are new to 81 for this season. Full-time Ray and Hissy. Not too many gaps in the field. Usually for those leaders you would say, right, where am I going to pit? Which gap am I going to pit into? There's not really many gaps in the field. If you look at that view, assuming it's what, 22, 23 seconds for a pit stop here, they'll be thrust into the middle of a battle with Mr. Wiggles, Majestic and Carito for those 2 leaders. So they're going to have to wait for a couple of pit stops maybe to open a gap to slot into. Last thing you want to do is come out of the pits with cold tyres into a battle and lose out because your tyres aren't toasty enough yet. Oh, and Platty's out! Platty is out of this race. Oh, and that is a very common area. Full course safety car number 2 this evening. Oh, we know Platty was under pressure from 10-10. This then has eradicated everything I just said about the top 2 pitting into a gap. Everyone is boxing. Wiggles stays out. And will Wiggles get the leads? No, Scuderia and Deflated maintain the top 2 positions. Wiggles comes out in 3rd where he was. Carito comes out in 4th where he was. Hello, Demon. You haven't joined the chat and put Demon. What's up, Demon? Sonny Pitson gets a 5-second penalty for speeding. That will be added on to the end of his race. Can't serve it in the pit stop that you gain it. You did earlier. I must be blind. I didn't see it. I'm scrolling up in the chat, I really can't see it. Apologies, Demon. Hope you well, of course. Three. Yep. Spot on, Novitek. And I only wish I could say that about myself. And it's thrown this whole race into the balance. It is going to be nothing short of excitement from here on in. We have half the race left. Scuderia is now the effective safety car. He will choose when to accelerate, and he's gone for it now. And he's got a good enough chunk of time on Deflated Wii. Asthma Frog held up 10-10 for a good part of 8 laps in the opening of this race. Look to try and get back past 10-10. But I've been really impressed with Asthma Frog this season so far. He's had a really strong race. But here comes Joseph Hales. Quicker tyres in this portion of the race. Asthma brakes as late as he can, leaves the space. Good overtake for Joseph. Nice solid move on the outside of turn 3. Yellow flag Hissy's had a bit of a moment. Drop to the back. Still carrying on. Sonny pitted under that safety car to get rid of that 5-second time penalty he had for speeding in the pit lane earlier in the race, so that is now chalked off. Can't get that removed by the stewards because it's already been served, and the safety car has eliminated that chunk of time lost. And Aya we see in the background in turn 15 just running into the barrier at the exit, and Ray has had a bit of a spin at turn 15 as well. And yellow flags, nothing more though. Race will resume. This has brought TD back into things, who is attacking Colucci. And Aya on the extreme inside going into turn 1, brakes late, forces TD to have the outside route, but TD actually might want the outside route. Put some ERS on, I'm sure, out of turn 1 and gets that move done. Double overtake there for TD. Ray pits. Sonny pits. Ray retires. And Sonny is onto a set of soft compound tyres. Very common for safety car to bunch the field up and then more safety cars to happen because of that. So don't expect clean running as a guarantee for the rest of this race. We may still see some drama. We may still see some contact, some incidents. By no means is this race over, and we still don't know who's going to win. Scuderia and Deflated have not been more than 2 seconds apart this whole race. Whichever one gets the win, you'd have to say it was well deserved based off this opening 16 laps, and whichever one misses out on the win, you'd have to say it's a little bit unfortunate. As 10-10 get past Kirito down into turn 1. Very close here between Joseph, Kirito, 10-10. Snacks and Josh trading places. Josh gets the better of the Dutchman Snacks out of turn 4 and is now up into 11th. Asma Frog here is performing very well. Very strong start to season 4. Joseph Hales proving why he has great race pace and is making some very good improvements here in recent weeks before the DRS is active. Gets the move done. Up into 5th now. Can Joseph close that gap on 10-10? 10-10 meanwhile got a podium on Tuesday night in the no assist tier race. Looks like he's on for one again tonight. And whereas 10-10's previous races in this league have been make the odd mistake here and there, and whenever it does, just retire in the pits out of frustration. Season 4 could be a completely different story for 1010, looking for back-to-back podiums in this league for the first time. Scuderia and Deflated still nothing to separate these two. If these two were a science project, they'd be a Newton's cradle right now. Like a metronome. Complete consistency from these top two. Brilliant to see. As a neutral, that is what you want to see. Two drivers so consistent that over the course of 26 laps, only 2 seconds has been the highest difference between the two. And Deflated Wheat doing a good job to stay within DRS here of Scuderia. Deflated Wheat, you can see the steering wheel, at least part of it. He's not using any ERS. And another full course safety car. And what on earth has happened here then? People pitting. Sonny has left. Sonny retired? Sonny has retired in the castle section. And in Discord says, I am stupid. Seems like he's done a bit of a Leclerc. So, pit stops then. Interesting. Chat, let us know. What is your reaction to these pit stops? Carito pits onto the mediums. TD in 12th on the softs. Colucci on the mediums in 13th. Greg on the mediums in 14th. Mr. Speaker has gone for a set of soft tyres in 15th. Snacks onto the mediums in 16th. And Padge onto a fresh set of hards down in P17. Safety car will obviously bunch up the fields. Will remain out for the whole of lap 19, so I imagine the safety car will be in at the end of lap 20. And leaders are pitting. Joseph Hales stays out. Asma Frog stays out. Scuderia, soft tyres. Deflated Wheat, mediums. Wiggles for the mediums. And 10-10 for the softs. Josh for the softs. Is he staying out? This is very interesting. And Snacks has crashed. Snacks retires. You can see a few moments ago there in Sector 2. Snacks' car. Very unfortunate. On cold tyres. Very, very easily done. So we're down to 16 now. Safety car won't stay out any longer than it needs to. Just waiting for Padge here to catch back up. This safety car has prompted a lot of changes. He spun already in the exit to the pit lane. Hit the wall. I was done there already. Liam. Who's Liam? We've got no Liam in the gamer tags. So, and Aya has no front wing. Am I seeing this right? He has no front wing. So I wonder if there was a contact between Aya and Asma. Either way, Joseph is going to get a really good restart here. Because Aya's going to go into the pits. Aya hit Asma. Okay, that explains a lot of things. According to Asma, that's what happens. Right, okay. We don't need a front wing, no. But it does help. Especially on this track. I get you. So race back underway. As predicted, into the pits, as well as Josh says he's in the pits, but he's really bugged out on track. Oh, as the real action is happening here. 3 wide, deflated with Scuderia. This is the closest they've been to the crash. And Scuderia has lost places. No front wing. Oh, he said safety cars cause drama. This is a game changer. And we're not too sure what happened. They were going 3 wide. It could be any of those 3 fault. But Deflator Wee has come off of this the best. 10-10 here. Could be in for not only a podium, but a shot at the win here. Soft tyres on the car. 2 drivers directly in front of him. What on earth happened between Wee, Scuderia, and I think maybe Zidane? I'm not too sure who else was involved in that. Definitely Deflated Wee was on the extreme left of the track and Scuderia was in the middle of the track. Welcome to Baku. Lap 22, this race has sprung into life. The order is massively shaken up. TD is up into 6th. Mr. Speaker, who qualified last and has been out of the points all race, is on for a top 8 finish. Hissy, who has been last most of this race, with some unfortunate incidents this race, is in P9. Carito now making his way past Zidane, who runs a little bit wide at turn 1. And TD gets a double move on the pair of them. It's the second time this race that TD has made a double move, and Mr. Wiggles is now out. He's retired in the pits, so maybe some damage there for Mr. Wiggles. And once again, we're seeing the 2 Aston Martins fight. Yes, Josh, we're aware that I'm not sure what's happening. This game really doesn't like you today. That's why I've stopped racing, Josh. It's just not. It's just not my cup of tea anymore. Obviously, from a streamer's perspective, I do hope you continue to race, but we'll understand if you decide to take a step back, but hopefully it doesn't come to that. Carito now fighting with TD. Carito made a very early pit stop under the virtual safety car on lap 7 or 8. He was in 4th at the time. He's aiming to get his 4th place back. TD needs to be careful that he doesn't weave too much on the straight in front of another car. That would be considered by most as very unsporting. DRS now activated. Lap 3 after the safety car restart. We've got 3 laps remaining. And here comes Carito. Over speed, not quite close enough on this occasion here. He's going to have to try and force TD into a mistake before Mr. Colucci closes that gap from behind. Joseph Hales on for a podium from 17th on the grid. That would be a very, very great result for him. But Deflated Wee in 10-10. Could be a grandstand finish. Deflated Wee using those mediums well. 1.2 second advantage. Oh, nudge from TD's front wing on the barrier in the castle section. TD feeling the pressure. He's got Carito behind. Another hit on the wall. He's lost speed. TD has lost P4, but he will get the DRS out of turn 17. The activation point. And TD's out. This game, this race, providing action beyond belief. And TD, we saw the couples of nudges into the barriers. We saw some of the mistakes. And in the end, he quite clearly did have some damage that he was carrying. And that is such a shame for TD. He had a fantastic second half of this race. But I'll say it again, welcome to Baku. Oh, and Hissy spins. I think he's nudged the inside barrier maybe. And he's going to lose out, possibly on some points to his teammate now. Don't know where to look. Scuderia, after that unfortunate incident, going into turn 3, has pitted for a new front wing and a new set of tyres and gets the fastest lap of the race. Mate, Novitek, you're watching a Baku race, mate. Doesn't matter what tier it is. This is Baku and this is normal. This is what to expect from a Baku League race. Oh, and more front wing. This time Zidane making a mistake in turn 15. And the whole front wing of that Aston Martin is gone. He'll have to pit and replace it. Certainly Padge and Greg will get past. There's not much I can say, TD, to soften that blow. All I'm going to say was it was a very impressive drive. Zidane has stayed out here with no front wing. That's quite dangerous. And Padge with the extra downforce gets a better exit out of 1. Oh, and now Zidane's hit Padge. Oh, and that's exactly why you should pit when you have damage in the background there. Padge getting back up to speed, but certainly Zidane probably will get in trouble with the stewards there. Well, this race has caused so much. We've had game glitches, we've had audio glitches. We've had intense battles for the leads. The first 16 laps were monotonous for Scuderia and we. The safety cars in the second half of this race have shaken up the order, shaken up the tyre strategies, brought people closer together, and no surprise to see plenty of incidents in the last 10 laps. An unfortunate incident with Scuderia meant that he dropped down to 12th and Deflated Wheat picked up the bones. We got Joseph Hales and Carrizo so close in the background, but Deflated Wheat comes home for a well-deserved win. 10-10, back-to-back podiums for the first time in IIRL, and will Carrizo get Joseph Hales to the final podium slot? It's going to be close. Carrizo nicks it. And Joseph Hales, that is rotten luck. But you'd have to say that is true Baku. So unfortunate for Joseph, but well capitalised from Carrizo. Galucci and Speaker, Greg and Aya, Zidane finishing in the points, Hissy picking up the final point. But if Padge sends that into the stewards, you have the feeling that maybe Zidane will get penalised there. Scuderia, many would have thought that he would have taken home the race win here and leaves Baku without a point. Very unfortunate stuff there. Well, I imagine the Assist Tier 1 stewards will be busy. Oh, Joseph, mate, that is such hard luck, honestly. But no one can argue that Deflated Wheat did not deserve that win. McLaren then on top step here in Baku, deflated wheat. Great, strong result. 10-10, back-to-back podiums. He is different gravy this season. Long may that continue. Kurito on his official 81 debut at the start of the season for season 4, picking up a podium at the expense of Joseph Hales on the line, who definitely deserved that after a strong showing from P17. Colucci, Speaker, Greg, Aya and Zidane and Hissy all finishing in the top 10 after starting outside of the top 10. Many congratulations to you all. Padge, unlucky there not to get a point in 81 here tonight. Scuderia, obviously we know what happened to him, picks up the fastest lap of the race, so congratulations to that, and for pole position as well. TD, with the late retirement, is still classified 3 laps down. But for Wiggles, Josh, Asma Frog, Snacks, Sonny Ray and Platty, DNFs will be on their record for the first race of the season.